What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 17th episode of Trench Talk. I'm here with just one co-host today, NRV. LTR is out with some IRL things. And then we have a very special guest this week, Lizard. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, man. I'm a little bored, but I really appreciate you guys having me.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. NRV, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. A little bored as well. I think there was some promise shown in the market on ETH very recently, but I'm like really trying to digest on, how long can this last? Is it here to stay for more than a few days, more than a week? I really can't tell, but I think we'll get into that today. Hopefully it sticks around.
Yeah,
we'll definitely get into it, and we'll have probably multiple takes on it. But I guess just go ahead and let's just dive right in. Lizard, would you be willing to kind of give a little background about yourself and your journey via Web3?
yeah, man. I think I have a less traditional start than most people. I was originally like an artist throughout high school, and then during the whole NFT buzz that happened, I kind of flocked towards that because I kind of naively assumed that there was a way to make money there with my own work. And then that kind of just turned into paying attention to what happened on chain, and then fast forward a couple of years and we're here every day. That's the basics of it.
Yeah, it's a little different than most because like for me personally, I came from selling shoes, so kind of like people started flipping NFTs, and that was like becoming the new wave during, I think it was 2021. So, did you make any NFTs?
I didn't make anything, and I also didn't make any money. Like
Unfortunate.
I really, when I say like I feel like I have a less than traditional start. Like I don't think I made any profit until maybe a full year into everything. And then even then it was nothing. This took like I don't think this was like ingrained in me like it is for a lot of people that I talk to.
So, how did you get into quote unquote making money? I guess is what I'll say.
I think like I don't consider myself to be like, again, like I don't think my brain is really wired for trading. Like I've seen it wired for some people, but I think I'm good at making connections with people and talking to the right people. So I was able to start a little group, got lucky enough to meet some of the right people a year back. And then that turned into a group called splizzDAO. And that's just been like the biggest blessing of my life. I've been able to trade with like these guys who I now consider family every day. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. I think the biggest thing is, especially in this space, just to kind of, find your group of people to work with,
Yeah.
finding like a group of like-minded people and people you just like to be around. I think that's just super, super important. If you surround yourself with great people, you usually get great results.
Yeah, I've traded around Lizard for, at least more than a few months now, 6 months more, in some smaller groups. But I don't know, hearing you say like you don't really think like you have the mind for trading is interesting to hear. Like maybe, I think everybody's minds work a little bit differently. Like I've talked to you in the past about like you look at me as like somebody that can typically hold coins for a lot longer than most. I just think that that's like kind of intrinsically built into somebody just by who they are, and it's hard to like force yourself to become that or turn into a massive cheat. Like you kind of just have your own tendencies, and I see you like wishing that you've held stuff longer, but the way I view you is like you're one of the better executors on chain. I think like when it comes to sniping things, bribing, finding information early. I don't know if it's like just like your own specific personal process, or do you consider that part of executing on chain trading in itself, or are you just referring to like the aspects of like trading a chart and doing technical analysis, stuff like that?
I mean, I think it's all trading. I think you could even make the argument that like finding the right circle of people like is even trading. Like what, I don't know, in this space of crypto that's so different from your traditional financial markets, like it's kind of hard to put a definition on it, right? Like, are you a good trader if you get the right information from the right people and you execute because of that? I don't know, but that's that's what I think I'm good at is whatever that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that's trading for sure. I mean, it's at the end of the day, the trading is making money in this space, and you've gotten very good at executing on chain like that for sure.
Well,
at least from what I've seen, from like third party perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, like the biggest piece of advice I would give to anybody, I don't know anybody that's just starting, but the biggest piece of advice I would give is just like, you need to find that right circle of people. I have yet to meet somebody who can do everything on their own. And I think that's really, really hard to do in a space as chaotic as this. I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw myself kind of in like the same boat with you. Is kind of like, I wouldn't really necessarily call myself a good trader. I'm just a decently hard worker. So I mean, I work with a couple like well-known people, Rec, Billy, IT4, and I think all of them are just extremely smarter than I am. And then it was almost like they were, had so much just more experience, like ETH on chain, to where like when I was doing a lot of things on Sol, we were able to find like a nice balance of being able to kind of like have eyes on both chains. So definitely like finding a group is just super, super, super important.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a blessing just being able to connect with people and make new connections. And I think that's, for people that are struggling in this space, like, you need to reach out. You need to actually try. Like, as for example, the biggest thing is when people will ask me anything via crypto is, how do you make money in it? How do you do what you do? You'll maybe give them like a list of resources to look over, and I'm telling you, probably like 99% of the people are like just not going to fucking take it, or just not going to look at it, or just thinking that they would just get some sort of like random ass free handout. Like, do you want me to just hand you over money? Like, I'll never understand people that just won't put in work. Like, you just need to really put in work if you want to make it here. Like, people that sit here on chain, track different wallets, track different Twitters, track so many other different things, the people that usually make the most amount here are the ones that put in the most work. And that's what I think is so rewarding about trading on crypto is I can put in all this very excessive work and usually get very good results.
100%. I think the biggest thing that I tell people, like, I don't know if you guys have had IRL friends that you've tried to kind of put onto this whole thing, but whenever somebody comes to me and asks, I think the best piece of advice I could ever give somebody is like, this is so much harder than you could ever imagine it is. Like, I don't know anybody that figured this out their first month, their first 2 months, their first year even. This is like, at least for me, I had to put like my whole life into this, and I think you have to if you want to be the best.
Yeah, I think each of us at different points have been full-time in this space. I only say that because Anonymous has recently taken a job, but I'm still full-time in the space, and I totally agree. I mean, I started with the NFT stuff as well, and I did have some big wins early on, but you just tend to, I think a lot of people tend to kind of just like churn in their profits. Like, you'd make money, then you give some back, and then I think a number of us, and people probably listening, were NFT botting and got into coins through that. It sounds like you had a fairly similar journey to me. But yeah, it's definitely not easy. And a lot of my friends, or anybody really that hears you make a lot of money in coins specifically, or just crypto in general, they think it's easy. They just think it's like you're taking an easy avenue to make money. But yeah, it's not easy. It's the furthest thing from it, for sure.
I think there's I swear it's almost like a ritual you have to go through. Like, you almost have to zero yourself. Like, you have to have the up and downs. Like, you're not gonna learn if you don't, have some really bad fuck ups. And then obviously, there is like super like easy periods. Like I'll still say to this day, the most easiest period I ever had was like 2021 NFTs. Like I had a buddy that was an art block whale give me Mev Collector's wallet, and I would literally just buy whatever he bought and make like close to like mid 5 figs. Like it was fucking stupid. So there is easy periods to go through, but then after that, like it just got progressively harder, and then everyone had a bot, things became more frothy, people started to have more tech of tracking wallets on chain, and it's just the competition got harder, so you just had to start putting in more work.
100%. I mean that goes into kind of what we're going to talk about today, I think, right? Like you have your really, really good periods, and then you have these periods where it kind of seems like nothing is happening. And then what separates the good from the great in terms of traders, from what I've seen, is like, are you willing to stick that period out? And are you even profitable during that? Because if you are, then man, like once the really good starts, like it's just practice. All I'm doing is really just practicing for the really, really good times.
Yeah, you got to put up shots. You got to go to the core after hours and, put up extra shots after the game. I mean, that's just, put in work. More work you put in, you should get better results. If you aren't, then, you need to kind of think, oh, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I'm obviously doing something wrong. But anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and get into a topic. Would anyone want to speak on the ETH Launchpads that I launched over the weekend? I'll be honest with you, I started a new job / had Labor Day weekend, and I kind of missed the whole Vista thing. The farm thing I can help explain, but were any of y'all around for when Vista kind of launched?
NRV, I don't know if you were here. Were you gone?
I was gone for the weekend when it came out. I saw the name, I saw people buying it, but I didn't dig a lot into it at the time when it came out. I feel like you're probably the most well-versed to speak on it, just because I know that you've been grinding since it came back. I know that you've traded on other chains. Like, I've seen you execute really well in Solana, typically with like pre-sale coins. You'll just go in heavy, flip for some huge profit and get out. But I think your execution on ETH is like fantastic, and these are the type of little seasons that you specifically get excited about, because it has the possibility to bring back easy mode on chain on ETH, right? Like, it's a very different or a similar time, I guess, just in describing it like that. Back when Pandora came out, like the 404s and everything that else came after that, like that whole month was insane. I think that might have been one of your best months ever. But if you want to explain your perspective on these launch pads, like where your head's been at the last few days as well, I think it'd be good.
I can go ahead with. It started with Vista, and Vista came out. I got woken up in the morning to a call from Rec, and then he told me that we had to buy it, rushed to figure out how to do it, and then since it wasn't purchasable with Banana, a really bad mistake, I quick tasked some guy, and then ended up buying him 4% of the token, and I didn't realize it. Yeah, did I not tell you this?
No. What, did you have like somebody else's wallet in your bot by accident?
Well, so
like from something else in the past?
I'm not super technical, mind you, but like it was since it was a DEX, if you quick tasked somebody's buy, you had to go in. I had to go into the some part of the thing and change the wallet, and I didn't. So I ended up giving this guy 4% of the supply.
Oh my god! So he had already bought some. You ran a quick task, and then it was sent more tokens to him because you copied like his hex data or something. Yeah,
exactly. Probably at like 200, 300K. Bought like 40 of it.
Oh my god, bro.
Yeah. But so that was the start of it, and besides the point, like the day after, it quickly seemed like it was going to be something big. My whole group bought Bonzi, that first one that came out, did well on that. And as a whole, I think Vista was a really good idea, just like really poor tech behind it. But I think it bodes really well for coins, and it was a nice time.
You're speaking very past tense. It sounds like you think it might be over.
Yes, I think it is over. 100%.
Do you think it's over just because it's already ran its course, or is the tech just not optimal or what, like ideal for what an ETH Launchpad would be, or is it because of this tax farming one came out, or are they both over?
I'm hopeful.
My quant impo said it was dog shit, so
it was,
I think it's dog shit.
It's bad, but regardless, even if it was the future of finance, I think that at least from what I've noticed, we seem to be in a really weird time where the market is getting more efficient than I've ever seen it, and I think anybody has ever seen it from what the people that I've spoken to. So my worry is that these little metas are getting faster and faster, and people are getting bored and moving on to the next thing and extracting, and that kind of seems like what's happening here. And
I agree.
I'm hopeful it's not, but it seems a little bit like what's happening.
There is, I don't even want to say this because it'd be very, very unfortunate, and it would not be great. But a big thing of why like shoes died down is because of how diluted it got and how heavy the competition got. Which I'm not gonna say like crypto's kind of leaning the same way right now, because I really do think there's just like so much more room for like innovation to come out, like actual real innovation. So I guess we'll just have to sit back and see. I mean, I know that this month range is usually pretty slow for crypto. I've only been in crypto 2-3 years, I think, and usually like around this late summer time, like it's always been ass. It's always been horrid. But I mean, yeah, you're 100% correct on the market getting way more efficient, people getting way more bored. I think it also has to do with probably just the lack of market participants. Like, I think people that kind of made easy money, like, kind of lost it all or lost too consistently recently. And I've seen, like, a lot of people, I saw way more people trading, earlier this year, January through like April, than like now. Now it's pretty dead.
100%. I think. I mean, I don't know if I know NRV does this a lot. I've learned a lot from how he does it. Like using Twitter to your advantage to kind of gain sentiment on any coin is good. And then it's especially good, I think, just to kind of see how people are feeling about general market stuff. And right now, a lot of really good traders I know are losing. And like that's usually not the best sign, So it does worry me a little bit that like we might be headed into a pretty big lull period. And I don't know what that looks like in terms of on-chain activity. I don't know if this is what that looks like or if it can get worse.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really knows, honestly. Like, people can make a suggestion, but at the end of the day, like, I don't think anyone knows what the fuck's going on. We're kind of in a new period of an ETF. Majors kind of just look like chopping horse shit that's just down only right now. It's just a lot of, bad times, and I wish I could sit here and say, like, it's all right, guys, wag me, crypto's the future, we're all going to make it, it's fine, bored apes, but I just can't. I just can't say that. I mean, I will sit here and I will trade as long as I am making money, but yeah, I don't know. NRV, do you have a take on this or no?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with what Lizard had said, just like around similar sentiment from the people around me. I know for sure I'm not winning as much as I was in the past, and I'm definitely gathering that like same sentiment from other friends of mine, even like very good traders that have made a lot. They seem to be taking less risk because their win rates are lower, and there's also like a lot of uncertainty on like where the best place to trade is, and because it's more PvP, it's like less risk on. So most coins that could have been a decent meme even like a month ago, they're just not running as high, so the PvP is heightened. We talked about this on the last pod actually with CoinGuru. And I think we're in an interesting place because I don't think like crypto in general, like I don't think we're going to see these massive dump offs on like Bitcoin like we had in like fairly distant history behind us, but I think people in general are still very bullish on where Bitcoin will go over the next year. Probably will see an all-time high, but I think that could be a catalyst to pull us a lot higher, pull up other majors, pull up ETH, pull up Sol, get more of a risk-on environment. But we do have the election still to look forward to. It's like literally 1 month away. But even then, like, that could be a sell-off event, or it could be very bullish as we get closer to it, and then a sell-off. Like, it's very difficult to predict on where it's going to go, but I just hope this period of people being very risk-averse and not willing to put up a lot of money on chain and whatnot, I hope it doesn't last too long, because it's a little scary for sure. I've sat in too much spot in this past month, and my portfolio has gone down like significantly, but
that's
keep grinding.
Been like the people that I've seen take the biggest hits, and like I'm not exposed to that side at all.
Yeah.
And it's really scary to see. Like a lot of the really good traders that I know that are more into the longer term stuff, so like your quote unquote blue chip memes, like they've just gotten destroyed.
Yep.
And I mean that's never a good thing. But I mean I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is that I don't know. I think this whole aspect of like, oh, crypto is the next big thing, innovation, like I don't really care or buy into it, but I do know that the casino will keep on running. There are always ways to make a buck here.
Oh, absolutely. Always. Absolutely. When you see like these blue chips getting nuked like that, it's like, damn, should have been like way more liquid. Maybe I'd buy these at a discount, or you know, like it definitely influences the way that I think about trading. And it's not the first time I've seen it happen. Like this happened last year too, you know?
Yeah.
We just got blessed with like super hot on chain seasons this small cycle in 2024, but yeah, man, it's been tough to witness. Makes you feel like you want to be more of a Jeet, you know?
Yeah. Until then, you have the periods where like just this week, you know, like being a Jeet last month was great. Like I never felt bad about selling out of anything, and then all of a sudden, you have to change your mindset at the flip of a dime, and that's another thing that like separates the good from the great, right? Is recognizing that shift and then being like, okay, I'm at the forefront of a meta. That's really difficult to see in real time. Like not a lot of people can do that. Maybe
Extremely.
2 or 3.
Yeah, it takes a big understanding of like what you've seen before, studying the market, understanding is this unique enough, not just from like a meme perspective, but like I think, you know, Vista, these are good examples because the tech was refreshing, it was new. So being able to see that very early and let it play out, because I mean that coin didn't really full send for like a full like 2 days or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, people that had that vision and stuck it through made a lot. But if you had just gotten yourself 3-4% the first day, like, did you hold it for 2.5 days? I think most people that were in there probably didn't, because it had like full chart resets a couple times.
Full like 90% resets. Yeah. It was insane.
Gotta love crypto. Yeah, I think being able to adapt is just like such an important thing. Like over this past year, I'm not going to mention any names, but I had just so many people just dog on Sol like so many times. And then now they're seeing me say in group chats, now I'm all in, I'm kind of, you know, thinking ETH is cool. And then they're like dogging like, haha, you're back. I'm like, yeah, I made a fuckload of money on Sol and you just sat here and bitched all day. And, you know, you got to be able to adapt. I mean, dog, I had money loaded on Cardano for today. Don't ask me why. I don't even know why I even attempted to do that. That was the most waste of time ever.
I did too.
But, I mean,
it's still bridging.
Yeah.
You're still bridging?
Hey, you know, I consider myself a Cardano whale. I have a 3600 Cardano sitting in my snack bot. Absolute whale right here. But, I mean, I don't know. I think the biggest thing trading is you just got to be a profit maxi, and it really depends on where you're at portfolio wise. Like I feel like if you're just brand new, you just have to be a G. Like it just is what it is. Like you just have to miss out on like the Vista opportunities. Like the big people that you'll see like that are sort of newish and they'll hit like a big win. I don't think there's any like real smart thought process going into it, and they'll probably lose it. Like I think they just kind of like. I don't know. I've seen a lot of idiot holding before. There is some people I know that are very well experienced and will just hold things, but I also think that has to do with their kind of portfolio size as well.
So, Lizard, I got a question for you. I think it could probably be a good topic. I think you and I have talked about this before, whether privately or in groups, but would you be willing to like talk a little bit about what your process looks like for just studying the chain? Obviously, like there's wallet tracking and whatnot, but I'm curious, like if there's any specific tech that you find valuable for watching deployments, tracking wallets. I mean, I know that you use Banana on ETH. I'm sure you use different bots and tech for Sol. I'm just assuming, but would you be willing to go through like some of your process? Dude, I even know some of these groups have like private tech built to help out a small FNF. I don't know that Spliz does that. I'm not familiar. I'm not in there myself.
Yeah, we've got some stuff, but it's nothing too insane.
Yeah.
Then this goes back to like what I was saying with just people don't realize that like if you even know about this space, like you're 99% of the way there. All of the tools that are available and they're out there are so good. Like I use Fraud Capital. It's just like a paid service for, I'm sure you guys know, but it's just like a paid service for contract watching. Makes it really, really easy to see what's being deployed, who the developer is, where the money is coming from, things like that. And then I use that. Then we have a little tool to find what the website is for things, for different projects, if the contract isn't verified or the website isn't published. And then you just put all of those together with a lot of experience and you win forever.
Yeah, Fraud Capital is interesting. I've actually never used it. I've been in that Discord for, I think, over a year. Just never paid for it. But I have heard good stuff from other people. Honestly, not a lot recently. Probably just because I haven't been having these conversations around like what tech everybody's using. And there's other ways to get that information. Maybe it just aggregates it a bit better in there, or it gives you an easier view into it. I think finding a funding source and other tools isn't always super easy. Stuff like that, like maybe little things like that.
You can always, everything is readily available because obviously, but like tools like that just make it a lot easier for me when I'm going through every single contract in like 12 hours to like parse through it a lot easier. It just makes life easier. I couldn't recommend that service enough.
Nice. I have to look into that. What does that cost?
0.06 a month.
Oh, sweet. I think it used to be like restricted to a certain number of members, right?
Way back in the day when it first came out, yeah.
Now it's just like kind of widely open.
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe like 2 people using it right now because the market is so chalked. But yeah, it's available.
What about on Solana? Like, are you getting tech from there for Sol, or is that just like
for Sol? It's like, well, for the people that I know that are really, really good at Sol, so the guys over at Grand, it's just a lot of wallet tracking. But for me, I'm like, the only way I'll play Sol and make good money is just playing like a big narrative, like a narrow. That I'm just not as tuned into that because I've just made ETH my existence, for better or for worse. But like when there's a narrative that you can't ignore, Solana is usually the place to bid that.
Yeah, due to the like massive amount of just more what is the word? Transactions. Sorry, boys, a little tired today. But due to there being just such a mass amount of transactions, kind of having like the same tools you'd have for like ETH on chain, the Sol is just like a nightmare. Like it's so bad. With it, I wouldn't say necessarily like the alerts are bad. It's just the volume of it is so crazy. You just can't like humanly possibly keep up with it. like I had a couple of tools like alpha garners that had like just normal things like freshies, new contracts, just basic ass things. They had just their take on like a moon finder. I know Frog Cap had some sort of little thing they tried to do with that as well. I had a couple of their tools back I think earlier this year or last year for ETH, but it's too much to handle on Sol. So the main thing you have to do is just wallet track. You just find certain teams that launch Mooners, find their wallets, and hopefully find connections through transfers and stuff. Like I know a couple of my big recent wins on Solana have just been like deep diving into like the Brainlet ecosystem. I mean, I grabbed so many wallets from that ecosystem of just top holders and top traders, and was able to massively cook a couple of related like Brainlet related launches. So yeah, Sol, it's just straight wallet tracking. ETH is definitely way more intricate. You can go different routes with it.
I think that I really admire that. Like I admire people's ability to transition from different chains. Like I'm that's like one of my biggest kind of, I guess, like downsides is like I am so stuck in one thing that I won't quickly transition to the other. You know what I mean? Like, and I think for Solana specifically, people did really, really well adapting quickly. And that just wasn't something that I did. I admire that a lot.
Yeah, I've even moved over to Sol, like, and a lot of times it was late. And I've talked to Anonymous and LTR, even on this podcast, about it in our very early episodes. Like, they were killing it on Sol, and I was like, yeah, I got to come back over there. But it always seems like, and I've hit some very, very big wins on Sol, but it seems like after I've hit them, I end up giving a lot of it back eventually. I don't know if it's necessarily like over trading. I think I over risk in certain situations. It's like very important to be self-reflective in that regard, but I definitely find myself like, okay, I hit a big win, I'm bridging back to ETH. And I think for you, Lizard, like, yeah, there's been obvious stuff like pre-sales and whatnot that I've seen you execute on before on Solana, but if we're in like a lull and then you specifically find out that there's a new meta on ETH or like ETH activity, people are actually sniping and making money on chain, like that's when you come back and you're like, okay, I got to lock in because I don't know how long this is going to last.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, if that's for anything, right? Like if your specialty is making pizzas and like you got the pizza fire sale going, or you got a pizza block party going, you got to lock in and make those pizzas, man. Like it's like the past week, I haven't slept well. I haven't like, it's just part of it though, right? Like if you want something bad enough, you're gonna get it.
Yep.
Yeah, that is an important thing to say. Like for me personally, like I never was super good at ETH, so it was necessarily easier to transfer over. But I mean, let's say like you're talking to someone like Rec, like why would he give up on ETH? Like he runs it over there. So yeah, like if you have a specialty, like definitely hone in and focus on it. There are specific people that are just kind of all around good on everywhere. Like I'm in this group called Yardao, and there's this guy named Faux in there. My dear lord, he almost murders every damn chain. He was murdering like Tron, like no one's business, finding every single mooner early and through wallet tracking. Like it was gross. There's different people that are built for different things, for sure.
Did you trade much on Tron, Lizard?
I didn't bridge one time.
Damn.
Yeah, I didn't bridge a single time. And like again, that's just like what I'm saying. Yeah. I did Simon though. Did really, really well on that. And like I was like, I'm so bad at doing that, man, that like even something like that I was proud of. Like, okay, well I went outside of my comfort zone for the month.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I legit didn't bridge once.
Yeah, it's wild. I bridged late to that, and I regretted the time that I took to be late. I made some good money on it. Still holding some stuff there as well that I like, but I think maybe a rotation back there comes at some point. It all depends on what Justin does, and I still think he's going to let it fail, but you can already see the rotation out of attention happening in regards to Tron. I think it's important to move quickly if you're going to move when you see anything new like that, whether it's a new chain, new meta. And I think you guys at least think that way, and to a certain regard. Like you just said, like you're still bridging to Cardano. Like, you're going to try it, right?
Yeah,
it's worth risking a little bit.
It's just that feeling that like, oh, I'm too late to this, right?
Yeah,
and
it's a terrible feeling.
You, at least
like,
for
I don't
us,
FOMO.
man, like most of the time that you think you're too late, you're not too late.
I agree.
Like almost, I would say like, no, not even 100% of the time that I've ever thought that, it hasn't been too late. I thought I was too late to Solana. That's not ending, you know?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that.
Easy Eats promised me $700 Solana. I'm still waiting for it. Pain.
That's gonna happen when Solana flips ETH. We're gonna get 600 ETH, 700 Sol. You wait.
Please. My portfolio wise, please. Need that to happen. Sorry, ETH maxis over for y'all. But anyways, let's see. Looking at the topic list. No, I mean, I kind of want to get back, kind of to the. I guess we can talk about this. There's this thing going on that when ETH on chain revives, it's the local top of the cycle. I'm really hoping that's not a thing. But anyways, the Launchpads this week to me were interesting because I do think there is room for like a successful Launchpad to kind of run on ETH. I haven't seen it happen, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe the only option was Solana Pump Fund, but I just still think there can be some sort of innovation. That's why it was actually super refreshing. We talked about it on the episode with Bill Drummond where we were like, we kind of want innovation. We want something to be excited about again. Haven't been excited about anything in a while. I sadly wasn't here to really look into it, but like it was super cool and fun to kind of see something different, other than the same recycled soul bullshit that's been going on for the past couple of months. So I really do hope like an actual utility season comes, and that I would really be interested in an ETH Launchpad to like actually like kind of really blow up.
Yeah, I think that I don't like to me this whole thing, as much as I don't like to say it, it feels like a bit of desperation. Like it feels like we're at a stage where like, oh, it's gotten so bad we're just like trying random things out. Like if we're trying Cardano out, like it's got to be over for a bit, man. It has to be. I don't know what a worse sign is. It seems very full circle. But yeah, I don't know. I think again, like none of it matters if you're here. None of it. We'll all be okay.
Yeah, I will say like, I mean, bottom of the barrel 2022 crypto, there were still money opportunities. And I think I'm a very like half glass full kind of guy. So I mean I've seen Twitter be absolutely depressed for like the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months. Ever since we topped out on Bitcoin. I don't remember when that was. But I mean, I'm like, guys, it's not that bad. There's still opportunities to make money. Like, I don't know. I'm a half glass full kind of guy.
I think
we're
that's
still
the right
making
way
a
to think.
shit ton of money.
Yeah, if you played your cards right, 5 days into this September, it was pretty easy to make $500,000 and like if you contrast that with like what I was doing with my co-founder of Spliz Spaceman, like 2022 cycle, we were scraping together 0.5 profits on NFTs a month, so it can get worse. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. I remember in 2022 paying bills with, my one free NFT mint I'd hit a week where I'd make like an ETH. That was pretty elite times, really scraping the barrel there. And like, I don't know. Like
there's been some NFT
fun.
clicks this past like week and a half, which is kind of crazy. Like multiple actually.
Yeah, man. Shout out to all the
wouldn't
people who
hate
still
it.
have a monitor dedicated to catchment. You know who you are.
Catchment monitors, but also like your NFT tech. Like bot wallets all seated. It's like actually like you're a psycho.
Yeah.
Ready for anything, I guess.
Yeah, I love that.
Me too.
I just closed it about 2 months ago. Not even joking. I had it open because I was still waiting for a crazy free mint to happen. And I just closed it. But now
you had that cat one, right?
Back up.
The Mooncat one.
The big one that came out recently. I mean, there's been a couple, but there was one big one that I think it was an open edition by CryptoKitties for those eggs, and it only ended up getting, I don't know if it was open for like 24 hours or longer, but by the end of it, it only ended up getting like just over 3,000 mints, I think, like 3,084 or like 3,100-ish, somewhere in that area, which pretty small for an open edition, especially if you consider it's from CryptoKitties, which is like one of the more OG NFT collections ever. And yeah, low supply, and then some big names started sweeping. I think Poopy Cat was sweeping. He's like one of the Doodles founders, but I think he worked with, was it Dapper Labs, maybe? There's like an association directly with him and Doodles and whatever their overarching company is. I think it's called Dapper Labs. But that one cooked pretty hard. There's also the XLG NFT on Tron. I think I'm missing another one on mainnet, though. But yeah, and NFTs have come back a little bit. It'd be nice to see an NFT season, honestly. I hate managing them because I like to mass mint them, but I wouldn't hate it.
I don't think it's impossible. I could see that.
It takes one big company to make like a big NFT, and we just all revert back. Where's the Dom free NFT? I got told that this.
Oh
would
my
happen,
gosh!
The Vine guy.
I just got a crazy flashback. That's the camera thing. Oh my days! Yeah, no, I remember that. That's gonna come out any second now.
Dom was the guy.
It's been a couple
that was like
years
associated with Vine, right? The Vine.
Yeah.
Well, he has that other thing he's been working on. I'm still in this like Discord server from like early NFT days called Sup Drive.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm in there. You like pick a team, green, blue, or red. I think I've been on the green team. I think this whole time.
Good. That's.
I don't think anything's ever come out of this.
Good.
He's farming for that whitelist. He's gonna get it.
Need like a checks type mint, like some Jack Butcher type shit. That shit was crazy back in the day.
I don't know. Like I made way more money on coins, but I don't know. Something about NFTs is just so much more exciting.
Dude, I hear that so much from people. Like, I loved the feeling of minting NFTs, and like, honestly, I couldn't disagree more. Maybe because I made approximately $- from it. But like, I don't know, man. Like, coins seem so much more fluid. Like it's the gambling with less steps.
Oh, was there a really big win in coins for you?
Like specifically, like massive. Like, there's been a lot of really good ones. Like Chicken Coin was one of the bigger ones. That was like, I don't know if you guys.
That wasn't even that long ago. That was like back in like the spring, early summer this year.
And I mean, even like Simon was really, really good.
Yeah.
Narrow was great. I think those are some of the bigger ones. Oh, I mean, even like the Jez thing yesterday. That was great. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, he launched a coin on one of those platforms, right? And then sniped a ton of it.
That was amazing. Like, if you were just fast, you could make 30 to 50 ETH.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was crazy. I got rugged via outside. Missed the mint notification on the find.
Dude, the amount of money I've watched you fumble Lizard is literally disgusting.
Yeah, it's probably it's well into the 9 figures now. I think it's pretty bad.
And like the frequency at which you do that, like put yourself in those positions where if you had just held longer or just approached the selling differently. I think you and I've even talked about. You're like, bro, I need to just lock up some of my supply on UNCX.
Yeah, the worst one was Peapods. That was like.
Okay.
That was probably. I think that was like north of $50 million. That was just like that. That was so dumb. But yeah, I mean, at this point, man, like I'm just so numb to it, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but
Yeah.
like if I can't learn a lesson from what I've done, then there's no point in dwelling on it, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I've actually said that exact term to I said it to my dad once when I was talking to him about a coin that I was in, where I fumbled like 280 grand or something, and he's like, "That's a lot of money." He's like, "You should take that profit next time you're in that position." It was different for me. It wasn't like I fumbled it. It was more, well, by selling too early. I was in that position. I could have taken the profit, but
Like
I was
a
like, "Yeah,
round trip
I'm just
kinda
numb
thing.
to it." And he's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
hearing that.
Yeah.
It's like the same thought process of like, oh my god, like if I was there, I would have made that much money. It's like, dude, no, you probably wouldn't have. You probably would have papered. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point in like coping over it or like letting it actually mentally like have you distraught. There's no point. It's kind of just you just have to take it, learn from it. Am I ever gonna learn not to be a paper Jeep? Probably, honestly, no. I'm just stuck. I'm just hard coded like this, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you know, I'm a paper Jeep, but like, I'm probably still making a very good amount of money off being a paper Jeep in that situation.
That's
And
right.
like, when thinking about it, I was like, you know, because I work like an actual job now, like really, like to an actual job income, it's like this is like really good money. Like this could genuinely like change some people's lives of just, you know, adding an extra like 10 to 20K to like their like yearly salary. Like, I don't know. I'll never understand why. I'm not gonna get into it, but like I'll never understand why more people just don't get into trading crypto. I really don't.
I think it's a good thing that they don't. I love
Probably.
I love that we still have inefficiencies to yet to be ironed out. That's what's beautiful. But I think like I don't know if there's any other like I really can't think of another like space where every single thing that you do is being tracked and seen by somebody else, and you can also see what other people are doing and see exactly how much money people are making and when they're making it, and it's in your face all the time. Like that's not good for humans, I don't think. So dealing with that and how that affects your mental, like that's super important stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
agree more, dude.
Yeah, no, for sure. That is definitely something important for
So
sure.
we talked to Coin Guru on the last pod. He was telling us how he had like just moved into a new house, and he's like, people that make money in cycles like this, like gotta stay liquid, but also pay yourself, like put some money in the bank so you at least have something to show for it. After you go through good cycles like this and make money, like the worst thing to do would be to go through it and have nothing to show for it in the end. I think a lot of people that have been stuck holding these quote-unquote blue-chip memes, like you've mentioned, are probably feeling a lot of regret for how they've traded. Do you feel like you've done a good job of, I guess, taking profits out, whether it's buying stuff in real life or just having money on the side?
Yeah, I think I've been better than most about it. Like I would say I'm probably 40% stabled, which is okay. I mean, honestly, it's not the best because taxes are a thing. But I also know people who stable every single one of their wins. And I think that's something that I want to start doing. The more I've realized, like, I would suggest everybody to just do some hard math and be honest with yourself. Like, if the thing that I'm holding, which is whatever, ETH Soul, if that goes up an extra 50%, is that going to change my life more than if it went down 50 to 70%? You know, be really honest with yourself about that and then reevaluate. That's something that I've done, and it's helped me a lot.
Yeah, I actually recently, because I'm about to be getting a house, planning a wedding with my girlfriend, getting a ring and all that, I actually recently, like, of course, you know, I fucking decided to make this decision, you know, towards this downtrend, but it was almost like I had that same thought process. It was like, I can't really, like, physically, like, want to, like, go without this, of it going down, like, another, like, 50%, so I'm actually, like, pulling out a decent amount of money. From the beginning of it, I decided this year I was going to pull out 1% a week of my portfolio starting January 1st this year. So I was able to get a decent amount of stables. But then, I mean, I got blessed. I made a lot of money on Solana. And then it got to the point to where, like, I had a very decently high number just sitting on a Solana hot wallet. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I have, future plans with me and my girlfriend that we're trying to plan out, and like this feels like so degenerate having like just this massive amount of money just sitting on like a Solana hot wallet that starting to pull out a lot of crypto, and just my trade size is not very big. Like, I mean, my max trade size is maybe like maximum 5 ETH. So I don't need, like a high 6-fig numbers of crypto just like keep making money on how I personally make money. Like, I'm not like doing like big swing trades on like crypto or shit. I was just stacking crypto that I just kept making from grinding on chain. So yeah, about to be a poor crypto boy again. Real fun.
I think I think that's a good thing, man. For you especially, right? Like, it's like what I was talking about. You evaluated the situation, and then you said, well, I mean, I think I need this money now, and that's okay, dude. Like, there's thing that about us specifically, and a lot of the people listening, is like, if you make your money in this field, in theory, if you are good at it, you're always going to have more. What you're not going to have more of, if you really mess up, is cash. And I mean, that's what changes your life, not this number on a screen.
Yeah, I think some people need to realize, like, please use this money that you're making to like genuinely affect and change your life for the better. Like, don't be useless, and don't just write it all to zero and just like waste the potential of like just being financially well off that you could have had. Like, I don't know. I think the whole point of working this hard and grinding on chain every day is for for me to have kind of like just nice thing and just comfort financially in life.
NRV, I want to hear your thoughts about this whole thing, because we talked about this like, I want to say 3 weeks back, and you had like a completely different outlook than I did, so I'm curious to hear it.
Which part of it?
Well, I was talking to you specifically about my plan of just going heavy into index funds and just TradFi stuff, and you disagreed pretty heavily.
Oh, like with like a lot of your liquid that you have saved, whether it's stables or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly what the hell my take was on that. I think like, if I remember correctly, it was mostly around like the returns that you'll get on that, and is it worth it? Like, I guess that's a comfy way to store your money. Was I talking about the taxes on it or no?
I don't think so. But I mean, like,
you were thinking going into like Vanguard.
On your like general outlook.
I mean, I think that index funds like that are a great place to store your money if you're looking to like use your retirement portfolio and just get like consistent gains over time. I think it's definitely a great place to just park money if you have a lot of it to get a consistent return. But there's a lot of people that, excuse me, that will stake their sizable amounts in crypto for just as much of a return or more, depending on where you stake it. I know you can do it. A lot of people do it on Solana. I don't do any of that myself, but I think in order for you to do that into an index fund, like, you'd have to go through the whole process of, and I'm going to assume that you obviously pay your taxes and everything, but a lot of people approach the tax stuff a bit differently with how their money is stored on chain. If you're going to go sizable into like an index fund like that, you're probably going to have to take a sizable amount out of the market, transfer it to your bank, and then go into some type of account, whether it's like, a major bank, transferring it to like E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, or open up an account with like a financial advisor, like go through somebody that's going to manage the money for you. I think it's just a lot of transactions, but it would also force you to offload your crypto, which could be good because you're likely going to take a lot less risk with that money, especially if you don't need it on chain. I think it's probably good for certain people in certain situations based on how much money you have, what your risk tolerance is. But the reporting on that it's going to happen like very transparently once you start putting it into the stock market like that, transferring through banks.
Yeah, I mean, my mentality on it is it's not anything like, I guess, like as pragmatic as that. Like, I know that I can get better yield in different places, but like I just want to know that I'm going to be okay no matter what. And that level of security for me is only found in like TradFi.
Yeah, I mean, that's the right way to think, for sure. I think if somebody has made a lot of money in this space and they only have themselves allocated to crypto with their holdings, that's probably not the most responsible thing. I know a lot of people that like to buy real estate with their profits in crypto. I think that's a great avenue, but it comes with headaches depending on what you're doing. Like, are you going to do rental properties and manage tenants? Like, that could be a headache. Are you going to do like Airbnbs? That's also a huge headache with getting your people coming in for stays and everything. But it can be good for just long-term sustainability. I think if that's where your head's at, I do think that would be a good avenue for you to explore. It's just not for everybody,
Lizard, I'm basically going almost kind of same route as you. I've met with a couple of financial advisors, and I'm kind of just like going through the motions and talking to a bunch of different ones. I'll let you know what I come to, but yeah. I'm basically moving all my main holdings into TradFi, just looking for some high yield dividends. Just kind of just playing it safe, just lowering the risk on my big amounts of money, and then just keep doing what I'm doing on chain.
I think for me that's what I would want to do, and I think also it's important to have conversations like these because I think a big issue with crypto, maybe not an issue, just something that I've noticed, is people don't tend to take this stuff super seriously when you're in it. But like for me, this is my whole life, so I do take it pretty seriously. And like what happens and the decisions that we make and how our time is allocated is like, there's real money on the line, right? So to me, it's super important.
No, for sure. You need to always kind of have a plan of like where your head's at, and a lot of people just don't think of risk as a factor when it comes to portfolio holdings, especially like kind of like on-chain traders via crypto. And I know specific for me, like I made a decent amount of money this year compared to the beginning of this year, and it just kind of hit me to where I was like, man, I probably could just like lower my risk, just like pulling like almost everything I have out, keeping money to trade, and just lowering that risk. Like there was no point in taking it. I didn't really see like too much of a growth happen. Like there was already a crazy jump from like 25k BTC to whatever, the 60k BTC. Like I was happy with that. It was really good money. I had money for taxes. Like it was great. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I need to make more money.
Yeah, that's always the solution,
bro.
Isn't it? That's the easiest solution.
Yeah, gotta keep grinding.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Nothing will take me away from grinding on chain. It's like I have an addiction to like putting in grind and getting results. Like I've said it before on the podcast, but like I relate it to like video games for me because like personally in video games, I just love just to grind achievements. Like I was really big into Call of Duty, so I just loved grinding multiplayer camos and levels, and I kind of just treat crypto like the same. I am just put in a bunch of work, keep grinding, get good results. Luckily, instead of grinding camos, I started making money. So that was a neat switch up there.
Yeah, I think treating it like a video game it can be a very good thing. I've spoken about it before too, but I've also seen some very smart people, like very big name accounts, basically say like they've heard other traders talk about trading crypto like a video game, but they're like, you also have to understand that you may take too much risk if you only think about it like that, because like Lizard said, there is very real money on the line here, so there's got to be like a mental check for yourself to make sure that you're not acting like this isn't real money, because it definitely is, Yeah,
for sure. The crypto actually equals real money. Wow, look at this lizard. I found where we're all hiding on Telegram. This is neat.
What's up, man?
Alrighty. Well, I think we're probably good to go by the end of here. That sound good?
Yeah, good with me. Is there any thoughts you want to leave us with, or anything we haven't covered, Liz?
Yeah, I think just like the most important thing is just like, I don't know. I also am an optimistic person. I think everything will be okay. We won forever. That's what I'll close on.
I love that.
We'll end on that. Love to hear it. Alrighty. Thank y'all for listening. Peace.
Thank you guys for having me. See ya.
Yep.